Hiya, how you doing? It's Josie here, and this is the Yoga Local podcast, where I get to just really go deeper into some of the things that we're teaching here, and also just start to blow this myth about yoga as just being about postures and poses and something to make us look good and feel good for 5 minutes. There is so much more, and this month we're exploring the whole power of the creative imagination, and I know a lot of us kind of write ourselves off in that department, but yoga is going to bring us back to our full innate creative potential, and I'm going to show you how and why that is so super important for everyday living. This is not just for those of us that want to really pursue that higher state of enlightenment. This is an entire pathway that is starting to help us grow into who we want to be and also live our lives most fully and freely. So stay tuned. If you're watching this, I'm kind of gathering, you've got some level of curiosity about how you're going to move into personal growth and self-discovery. But you also might still be a little skeptical, and I just want to ease that situation a little bit, because it's completely normal, and I'm totally used to experiencing that from new students, and also from students who are only still kind of working in the physical plane of their practice. And unless you're a particularly creative type, or you've already kind of created that persona for yourself, and you're getting huge value out of being creative, which many of us are, and are creating some amazing things in the world. Unless you are already doing that, you've probably already written yourself off in that department, or, which is also, pretty likely, someone else has written you off in that department also. Our conditioning, if we're told often enough that we're not creative, if we tell ourselves we're not creative, then, at some point that old repetition of thought is going to have some weight and some energy behind it, and, that will be our belief system. So I'm now going to show you through this podcast, hopefully, and also you can read the blog that goes with it, how you can bring yourself back to your inner creative potential. So as always, we're going deeper. Let's adventure deeper. At the end of this podcast, and in the details of this blog post, you'll also get an opportunity to come and spend some time with me and a few other curious, ready to be creative types who want to reimagine themselves, their goals, their future. And we're going to be doing all that from an off-grid location in a yoga local yurt at the end of June. So stay tuned, or, when you've finished, scroll to the end of the post, and all the details about how you can take part in that are there. So anyway, let's dive deeper. Last time we were here, I talked about and we explored the meaning of kalpana. And kalpana is this intentional use of our thoughts, our ability to shape our reality. There's something before kalpana, the vilkalpas, all the kind of random thinkings that we don't even, we're not even conscious of creating, the unhelpful thinking, the random meanderings of the mind. That's what starts this process. And then the kalpana is being able to take charge of our thoughts and make them more, make them more intentional, make them more directional. And it's the intentional use of our thoughts. And this week we go further into this whole conversation where we're looking to radically reimagine ourselves. So this is where we start to step into the world of Prathiba. And this is a Sanskrit word which is roughly translated as true creative imagination. So what's the difference? Well, as I mentioned, kalpana is this power of thought that helps to shape reality. And Prathiba is more about tapping into spontaneous, like visionary insights. I know that sounds a little wild, But that's what comes from expanding consciousness. As we do these practices, as we become more aware of our unhelpful thoughts, as we start to steer ourselves to more actively and intentionally created thoughts, our potential for awareness starts to expand, and that gives us the space to start to receive inspiration, right? So everyone will have heard that word, inspiration. It comes from that root word inspire. To be inspired is to be in spirit. Okay, so, regardless of how you feel about being in spirit, that's what that word means, to be inspired, to be in spirit. And that is all part of expanding your level of awareness. And don't forget that, practice is moving us more and more into new states of awareness. It's an expansive process. And each time it's like climbing onto a new ladder level. Or you could think of it like, I'm using my imagination now, you can think of it as like, when you go on a hike and you're kind of, you have this idea of where you are and your surroundings, and maybe you're climbing a mountain and you get to a next level of that hike, and everything looks and feels way different. It's grander, there's more, you can see more, you're aware of more, it's more awesome, it's more inspiring. So for me, that's what practice is. We're climbing that mountain, and each time we're practicing, we're getting a new layer of understanding, a new layer of perspective. And that's just starting to help us to access these more creative insights. So they're not reserved for the few. To be in spirit doesn't mean we have to be, this disciplined kind of idea of a yogic sage that does nothing but meditate all day. And these are for all of us. This experience is for all of us, and no doubt you will have already had one of these experiences, and many of these experiences. So I just liken them to those aha moments, right? The light bulb moments. And they often, they can be, they can have different degrees of transformation. Some profoundly transformative. Some are just kind of edging us closer to a more inspired sense of self. So Prathiba is about being in spirit. It's about allowing your consciousness to expand to those higher realms, and leads to those bursts of visionary creativity that can revolutionize your life. So if you weren't sure about why you should care about Prathiba already, I think revolutionizing your life is a pretty cool way to start. I'm just going to dive a little deeper and make it a little bit more relatable, because I think it's important for us as yoga teachers to start to really demystify and bring these real life experiences of what practice does and how that affects your life. Because I know our lives are where we're hanging out mostly. They're not here on the yoga mat, they're not in meditation. So how does this stuff going to serve me in life? So first of all, just imagine having access to this wellspring of creative insight, and imagine that's guiding your decisions rather than all that unhelpful thinking and the random thinking and the disturbed mind, right? How would it be? How would you feel? How would you behave? What would you do if you were in that space of being able to take clear, conscious choices in the moment? When you tap into this, it really does unlock deeper understanding. Imagine being a little higher up that mountain. It unlocks deeper understanding. It allows you to deal with situations from a different vantage point, and start to understand the world around you, the people around you in a new way. And that is what's ultimately going to help you live a more fulfilling and empowered life. Because, we can't change, what's out there, but we can change how we're responding to it. We can change how we deal with that situation. Okay, so for example, then let's just really drill down into how it can affect your career. okay, and your job, and all those dreams you have for climbing the corporate ladder, perhaps. Unique ideas lead to promotions, right? They lead to the leadership roles, right? We need people, God knows, we need leaders that are connected and really tapping into, their creative power and not just drawing from outdated thoughts, patterns, and, just going over things over and over again. We need leaders to have those creative insights. So yeah, if you're trying to, pursue success through your career, through your job, then, massively important that we have access. In our relationships as well, because, when we can start to address relationships again with a little more source information, for want of a better way, from that, bigger, more expansive, imaginative mind, we're going to be able to deal with relationships, and we're going to be better equipped to deal with them, come up with new solutions, new ways of thinking around them, new ways of understanding each other, and this doesn't have to be romantic relationships. Just think how, if we were all understanding each other a little bit more, if we could really come from a more aligned space, a more creative space, and not be just embedded in the stuff we think we already know, just how much our relationships would flourish in every single aspect of our lives. Same with our finances, we can be closed off, in the same way that we may have been told we're not creative, we may have been told we're not good with money, and that can really have a massive effect on your ability to make money and to feel abundant and to thrive and to think that you're worthy of financial success. So again, we've got to start shifting what we think we know and shift all that unhelpful thinking and start to align with that Prathiba, that true creative imagination, get those bursts of insight that can start to steer us in a new direction. Same applies for our health. We want sustainable habits. We want to be working mindfully to reduce the impact of, our busy lives, which, there's no getting around that. After we came out of COVID, there was this kind of real feeling of how it felt to be a little less in the swirl, but everyone's gone back into the swirl, and this is what we have to deal with. But can we still remember just how important it was to take those moments when we are addressing the level of our stress, the level of our connection to nature, the level of our ability to come back to calm and peace, and how important that is for then going back out in the world and, being your most awesome self. The two have got to kind of work in union. And then aligning with your overall purpose and fulfillment in who you are and what you do. If we're again limited by the lower mind and it's just its meanderings, if that's where we're hanging out, if we're at a low level, if we're thinking of that mountain analogy, if we're just hanging around at the base of the mountain, then what's possible for us is just out of our reach. It's out of our realm of even thinking and believing. So we've got to climb that mountain, we've got to climb that ladder and start to remember just how available all this expansive, creative energy, how available that is to all of us. We just have to seek it out and keep climbing and keep reaching, and not allow ourselves to get too pulled back into the lower mind, which will try and keep us safe from exploring. Okay, so yeah, do you care about those things? I care about those things. This is what has really led my whole journey into yoga. If it just was all about touching your toes, then really that would be, that would so be hanging out in the lower levels, right? It's not about that, and we're using our bodies as tools to enable us to grow emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And, you know, it's really important for me that I start to kind of like, you know, turn that light on, switch that bulb on, maybe give you a burst of insight, you know, help you to open up and experience these teachings, because they are so powerful in terms of how they're going to shape our life, how they're going to help us radically reimagine who we are and what's possible for us. To touch in a little bit on the connection between our energy centers and Prathiba. So in yoga, there is the chakra system. It's an energy consciousness based system of understanding who we are. And I just want to explain a couple of them in terms of how we can start to focus on these energy centers and use the power of our true creative imagination, use Prathiba to start to unlock their profound knowledge and power. So we're going to look at two of these energy centers, which you can think of as like sacred sites, which we go to visit like pilgrims. We go in to uncover and connect into the energies that are expressing themselves there, and that gives us clues to you know, how we're showing up in our life. So for example, the Muladhara chakra, the root chakra, located at the base of the spine, it's our foundational chakra, and it governs our survival instincts. It's primal, and it's an energy that will do whatever it takes to survive. But this energy can be really problematic. So if you think about doing whatever it takes to survive, this is the kind of energy that can promote war, you know, and gang or pack mentality. It creates a fearful reaction that's animalistic at times, and it's what brings in that energy of survival of the fittest. However, if we can you know, work and shine the light of consciousness through that energy center, if we bring a more true creative powerful imaginative mind to those energy centers, then it can start to transform what are our basic instincts into higher qualities. So we move from this more survivalist mindset to something that is more stable and secure. It's really what we're looking energetically from this chakra. We're looking for the stability that it contains, the grounding that it contains, our ability to hold ourselves steady and move forward. So again, it's, you know, there's always these opposites that we're working with. Energy expressing itself in infinite ways, but it's how we choose to, and what lens we choose to filter it through. So if it is through a fearful survival lens, then that's the energy that we're going to align with. If we can start to shift and start to see these energies from a higher level of consciousness and awareness, we can start to enjoy them and use them more skillfully as ways to grow. So let's use that energy that helps us to root in and be stable, and use it to help us grow. And then the Anahata chakra, which is further up the energetic system. So the root chakra is the first chakra, very much related to our basic needs, our survival needs. The Anahata chakra is further up, and they're all located along the length of the spine. And the Anahata chakra is the seat of our devotions. There's higher qualities. There's sensitivity there. There's compassion. There's a quiet sense of joy and bliss that we're invited to tap into. And it's a really strong, it's a really balanced energy. And when it's coming through that lens, we have high immunity, there's non-judgments, there's a lot of self-acceptance and peace and joy in our lives. However, again, there's that kind of opposite way of looking at things, right? If we're not looking at it from the higher mind, if we're not looking through the heart from that higher perspective, then we can start to feel the opposite, like uninspired, not joyful, needy, jealous, in the blame and shame kind of energies. There's poor self-love. So our goal as yogis is to start to nurture these centers and cultivate their higher qualities, and imagine how and what is possible when we just start to shift our perspective, when we start to like take charge of our mind, take charge of our thoughts, start directing them skillfully, and then allowing that expansiveness to reveal itself as higher quality, true, creative, inspired thinking. I hope this is making some kind of sense. So how do we practically embrace Prathiba? Just come up with a few that you can work with. Ultimately, I would love you to start this journey, right? I want you to understand that this is information. You can, take that information on board, but it's really in the practicing that you're going to get the results. However, here's some things that you can be doing. Start to pay attention, essentially, to those bursts of insights, those aha moments. Don't disregard them or make them meaningless or dismiss them as inconsequential. Start to really look out for them, embrace them, journal on them, see what the insights they're giving you. How are those creative bursts of insights trying to direct you into a new way of thinking and growing? You can work with chakra meditation. So as I've explained, the chakras are these areas that we go to and in a way of pilgrimage to unlock the higher qualities of the energy center, so that we can be filtering life in from a higher quality lens. So focusing on each chakra will release its innate potential, its innate kundalini energy, activate that kundalini shakti and make it into something which has power, prana shakti. And then we can use that energy to start to reimagine and grow and look at things from new perspectives. And then this is just, again, starting to help us climb that ladder or that mountain, and really start to connect to your own divine potential, right? Your own sense of being in spirit, to be spiritual. As you're going through life, something that may be a little less or a little easier to work with is just asking yourself, which lens am I looking through? Is it through the lower mind? Is it through an external lens, or is it through an internal lens? This is what's going to allow you to shift your awareness to a higher perspective and open that door to some more visionary insights. And in class, we'll also use mantras, so empowered mantras, and it must be an empowered mantra that you're working with. So, know your mantras and make sure it's a mantra that is open and available. But when it has that true power, the mantra has Shakti, it has a power that will uncover the mind's innate attributes, your innate potential, essentially. So if you want to explore mantras more and connect with higher consciousness through mantra practice, if you want to let that be another one of the many tools to help you increase your wisdom and your inner sense of who you are, self-knowledge, then mantras are also another way to access that. So in the blog, I have also given you an affirmation that you can use, repeat yourself, maybe journal on it, maybe bring your attention to it before you go to bed at night, and once again when you wake in the morning, maybe have it as an alarm on your phone. It pops up and you can remember just how much you are a creative being, born of nature. In nature, you have creative power. Each and every one of us has this amazing ability to create another human being. So let that process start to sink in. let it start to percolate. If you want to start, climbing that mountain and go deeper and deeper, yoga has all the practices that will help you to ascend and grow and become all that you can be in every area of your life. So I'm just going to wrap up. I hope that I've explained that this isn't about indulging in fantasies or escaping reality. It's actually about how we deal and manage with life in a more skillful way. It's about merging those visionary insights with your daily life, and using true creative imagination to create a life that is both exciting and fulfilling and will bring you to life, or start to fire you up and give you purpose and meaning, and will seep into everything that you care about. Such a rich tapestry of practices for you to explore, and I would be delighted to introduce you to some more. We do it in a completely systemized way, so that we don't just take this on board, forget about it, and never actually embody it. We've got practices that are going to sustainably move you in the direction of who you can be in all areas of your life. And if that's an enlightened being, then brilliant. But if it's just to be able to, be a better citizen, be a better partner, be a better mother, be a better son, be a better friend, that is all going to contribute massively to how life's going to show up for you. So let's not continue to, wallow in our lower mind thinking. Let's get out of all those ruts that we've got stuck in. Remember, this is, we work on this in class, in our studio practice, but also we're going to really kind of dive deeper on our mini retreat on the 24th of June. And again, the details are right below. We'd love it if you could join us and start to create those dreams for yourself, radically reimagine what's possible for you. It's there for the taking, so come and grab it. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.